So some of the kids know I like to ask questions. Today in our church, actually every year around this time, we speak of this as Good Shepherd Sunday. Who's the Good Shepherd? Who is that? Jesus. And here's an added question for anybody. Why do we call Jesus the Good Shepherd? Yeah, he treats us like a shepherd treats his sheep. He takes care of us. Very good. Anybody want to add anything to that? The parents are glad you're answering the questions because they'll be next. Okay? And tell me, if he's the good shepherd, what are some of the qualities? If you had to describe Jesus and they'd say, well, like what's this guy like? What would you say? Yeah, if you were ever lost, he'd never leave the one behind. Yes. Who else? He's kind. Who's some other words? He loves us no matter what. Yeah. He would do anything for us out of his great love. Okay, he always tries to make us happy, even when there's difficult, hurtful situations. He's there to help us get happy again. Great answers. And by the way, we didn't coach him either, Hopefully, for all the adults, say, yeah, you know what? Every one of us, maybe you did this 60 years ago and got different things about Jesus, but we know he's loving, he's good, he's kind, he cares for everybody, and that's good. And in fact, I have this picture that I wanted to show. This is in my office, and it's not an actual photograph, obviously, but it's a picture that reminds me it's always above my computer. The reason it's above my computer, that's where I usually am. And secondly, sometimes I get upset at my computer, and then I look at Jesus and I say, I'm sorry, but the thing's not human. It don't care, But anyway, here's the picture. And again, it's just an image. His hair's kind of tousled, He's out there. He's not going to comb his hair. They don't have a photograph. But when you look at this picture, just again, what would you say about this person? Some of it you've already said, but just seeing this person, what does this remind you of what Jesus is like? Loving, kind, caring. Pardon? That's what you were going to say. Well, another caring. Okay, this is good, and we're going to keep this picture here. And remember that Jesus is our best friend, always has been and always will be. Somebody else mentioned there's another story about how one of the sheep was lost. You remember that story, right? When he was lost, how do you think that sheep felt? Lost and didn't know where he was and what he was doing. Okay, no. Pardon? Confused. Any other words? Scared. Sad. Mad even too. Lonely. Okay, all those words. Yeah, he felt that way. And in fact, probably sad, frightened, lonely, all by himself, wondered, would the shepherd even come for me? Because after all, the shepherd's got 99 to deal with. He's probably not going to come to me, and here I am, and he's not going to go out of his way for just one person. When he's got the 99, I can't matter that much to him. But how did it end? Yeah, he went out of his way to find the sheep. Because it's a reminder, he cares about every one of us, whatever our age, whatever our background, whatever any of that. He cares about every one of us and is willing to go out of his way in order to show his love. And part of that, as we see here, before I bring this up, I'm going to tell you a story. A lot of times I tell you stories about my life. I was probably in 4th or 5th grade. And I remember we had a big wooded area called the Gorge. Some of you know it. In the Gorge. Wasn't far from my house. I think I was in 4th or 5th grade, rode my bicycle there. My mother said to me, don't ever go there alone. Go there with friends. That's great. You can go there, but it's a big woods. Go there alone. What do you think I did? I went alone. Yeah, I was being disobedient, but I figured my mom won't ever find out. And so I went there, and guess what happened to me in the woods? In the woods. I got lost. I sure did. I was lost. I didn't know what was happening. And like you said before about the lost sheep, I was confused. I was sad. I was frightened. I really was. And it was getting dark. Plus, I knew I'd probably be in trouble if my mother found me, you know. And anyway, but I really was sad and frightened, you know. And then along comes a voice. I think it wasn't Jesus directly, but it might have been Jesus indirectly. What was the voice I heard when I'm in there, and I knew it right away? My mom, yeah. And I especially knew it. I was glad that, you know, she was finding me. But a lot of you understand this. I heard the voice go, Norman Keith. Boy, when you get the first and middle name, I don't know if that happened to you. But I thought, whoa, she's finding me, and I'm in trouble, you know? And she did. And she did. And she kind of scolded me a little bit. And then what do you think she did, besides just scolding me? Yeah, hey, she asked if I was okay. She cared. What else do you think she did? She said, never do that again. She did that. Oh, there you go. She said, I'll always love you. And she gave me a big hug. She scolded me, but she did that because she loved me. And she was frightened too that something awful might happen to her. And I realized that. I had disobeyed, and I needed her to kind of bring that point up. But then to say, as you said beautifully, I still love you. I always will. You know, I care about you. And Jesus works a lot through people. The Good Shepherd today in us. Especially on this Mother's Day, we remember moms, dads too, and other family members. Part of the way Jesus shows his love is through the people around us. And so to remember that, and especially our best friend, who is always there with us and for us, so many of you today are receiving communion for the very first time. How are you feeling about that? Or what? Yes. Excited. Nervous. That's okay. I forget all the time. Happy? Who else? Yes. A little nervous. Just a little nervous. Okay, that's okay. Pardon? Curious? Oh, nervous. Grateful. Okay, you can put your hands down. A lot of good answers. And really, I know when something new and you're not doing it, we can feel a little nervous. But again, hopefully to get through that and realize Jesus is your friend. You're here with your family and other people who love you very much. And receiving communion today for the first time reminds all of us, because all of us, Jesus wants to be our friend for a lifetime, forever. And when we receive communion, each time it's a reminder that Jesus is saying, I want to be a part of you. I want to be a part of you. I want to show you my love. I want you always to know that, no matter what. And so to remember that, and as you receive your first communion today, every one of us, wherever we are in our journey with Jesus, we're all probably all over the place, but Jesus loves us, and Jesus wants to give us a part of himself. We don't earn his love. He freely gives it, as you said, because he loves us. And when we share this meal together, it also means not only that Jesus loves us individually, but Jesus wants to bring all of us together as we're here today as one family, because he wants to share his love with us all. And in a special way that we are to remember that, and maybe every one of us today, some may remember back to First Communion, whether it's 5 years or 80 years, we won't ask, but to know we're here today to be reminded what matters most in our life with God. It's how much he loves us and how he wants us to share that love with others. So I'll tell you what, take a brief quiet moment, and actually in a moment we're going to do what we call, and you'll pick it up, a renewal of our vows, of our baptismal vows. You don't remember baptism probably, but in a special way it allows every one of us to recommit ourselves to God who loves us very much. So just a brief quiet moment, and then when I tell you, you'll stand, and I'm going to sprinkle you as a reminder of baptism. And the sprinkling is like water is life-giving. Look at outside today in the spring. Water is life-giving. So when you get sprinkled, think of it a symbol of God just wanting us to come alive and in his love.